Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power Man Podcast. My name is Rory Paquette, and I am, as always, your unbelievably grateful host. Thank you so much for being here today. I love my life. I love this. I love being here with you folks. I love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to the program. And let me just say that with all of the success that we've been having and all of the growth that's been occurring with our podcasts, with our programs, it is all because of you. So thank you so very much to every one of you who ever hit play on one of our episodes. It's because of you that we're here and that I get to sit here and do this. Thank you so much. All right. Now, we're going to talk about a couple little things today. It's a solo episode. It's not going to be that long. So hang on. All right. But before we get rolling, we do need to pay the bills. We got to bring in a little bit of our preferred a beverage. Here we go. Whew, got the big cup here today. It's right, because I've been drinking this for a while. Oh my goodness, folks. If you're a friend of the program, and I know you are, you know what we're drinking. That's right, it's Freedom Hill Coffee at Freedom Hill Coffee on Instagram. Go look them up. They're awesome. They brew a mean bean. It's a great cup of joe. Deep, dark, rich, bold, and beautiful. Just like my wife. I'm telling you guys right now, they do all the right things for all the right reasons, and they support veterans, which is why we support them. Because you guys all know that here at Power Man, we give the greatest and deepest respect to the men and women who fought for this country and have given me the right to sit here and give you an opinion and have given you a right to choose to hear it. And a lot of that is back now, folks. Don't forget that. Look them up. Take a quick look at what they've got to offer. Check them out at Freedom Hill Coffee on Instagram. You will not be sorry. Um, Tell them Power Man sent you. Folks, a couple quick things to talk about today. A couple of quick reminders. And today I wanted to throw out just a reminder again of what are some of our basic tenets and what they mean and why we talk about them. All right. I've been interviewing a lot of very powerful men lately. And so we've had a lot of new listeners hop on board because they've been followers of these gentlemen who have come on and they're going, okay, well, what's this podcast about? And who's this, Italian guy, right, with the fuzzy beard and the deep voice. Well, hey, as long as you know I'm Italian, we're halfway towards solving the problem. But there are three basic tenets that we have here at the Power Man, and I just want to remind you guys about what they are and why they matter. The first one, okay, and you guys have heard this before, but we got to talk about it again because it keeps getting lost. The people who depend on you have to be more important to you than you are to you. Let that sink in for a second. Now, I know most of you guys get it, but we still have some of the new folks who are like sending in DMs and questioning, and I'm addressing some of you guys right now. Well, you got to take care of yourself. You can't pour from the empty cup. Oh, my. Folks, I got to tell you something. I have worked 80 hours a week. Okay, legit. I have worked 3 jobs. I have operated for a period of almost a full year, sleeping 1 hour a night. Was it good for me? No. But was that sacrifice necessary to get my family out of the horrible position that my mistakes put them in? Yeah, it was. It's what led us to this point today. It's what led to getting back into the nice neighborhood. It was what led to getting back into, keeping my kids in their school so they didn't have to leave. It was, keeping them in their sports programs. It was selling furniture to make sure they could go to football camp. Because if you miss football camp in a very political atmosphere, it doesn't matter if you're 6'2", 240. Okay, you're still going to be coming off the bench. Little stuff, but we handled it all. It's what allowed my wife to continue being a stay-at-home mom and continue relating to my children when we were going through one of the toughest times in our lives. Guys, I'm telling you, that sacrifice I have never looked back on and said, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Ever. Did it lead to a serious decline in my health? Yeah, it did. But you know what? Whose fault was it that we were in that spot in the first place? Mine. And so who could I lean on to fix it? Nobody. It was up to me to fix. And I've relished that. I mean, I have slapped that on my arm like a badge of honor, and I've worn that ever since then. And gentlemen, you can too. Right now, you've got your mind and your body and all the people around you and Instagram and Facebook and all of the gurus all saying, well, you have value and you matter, and that's great because you do. Okay, but you have to take care of you. And you got to work on your inner this and your power that, and that's all good. All of those things matter until there aren't enough pieces of chicken on the dinner table. I use this example all the time. If there's four people at the table and there's three pieces of chicken, who goes hungry? You do. I do. The guy who didn't provide the fourth piece of chicken. Believe me, this matters. This ideal matters. And the way we look at this matters. So I challenge you to take on that persona. Take it on and say, listen, if my family doesn't have enough, I'm the one that's got to sacrifice because they are more important to me than I am to me. Take it on. You will not be sorry. It doesn't mean don't take care of you. It's not what it means. It just means if there's only enough time and money to take care of one, you take care of them first. That's what it means. All right, I'm off that. Let me step down off my soapbox for a minute. All right, because a lot of people just don't quite get this, you know. Second tenet. And you can tell we have new people on board listening because we're getting blowback on this now in our DMs, which is funny. Most of you guys who have been following me forever get this one. Never let them see you weak. Never let them see you weak. Here we go. The new contingent of no, you have to be a partner with your wife. No, you have to be open and honest and you have to let them hear your feelings and you've got to share. No, you don't. Gentlemen, let me tell you, if you want to have a happy and successful marriage, if you want your wife to feel safe and protected and loved and wanted and honored, the last thing in the world she wants to hear is that you're overwhelmed. The last thing in the world she wants to hear from you is, I don't know if I can keep the electricity on this month. Your wife and your kids want to hear that it's all going to be okay and that dad is going to take care of it. That's it. I have a lot of men who respond, a lot of women who respond, and they say things like, well, that's a very lonely existence. The lone wolf thing doesn't work, yada, yada. You're all right. You're all completely correct. But that doesn't mean you come home and you unload everything on your wife. Gentlemen, your wife's already carrying everything she's carrying on her own, all of her own fears, all of her own hopes, all of her own dreams, all of her own overwhelm. You're going to come home at the end of the day and walk in with that bag of overwhelm and insecurity and nonsense and fear, and you're going to dump it all over her so you can feel better? Gentlemen, when you get home at the end of the day, you take all those things, all of your hate, all your anger, all your insecurity, all of your fear, you put in a bag and you leave it at the door. And you go inside unencumbered, ready to be a father, ready to be a husband. And you never let them see you weak. Believe me, when you come back out the next morning to go back to the same old grind, you can pick that bag right up. It'll still be there for you. You can pick it up and take it with you. Well, so Rory, how do you get past the fact that you're so lonely and it's a lone wolf and you really do need help and you've got to get this stuff off your chest? You go to a brotherhood. It's not difficult. You find a support system of like-minded men. That's it. Other men who are going through the same thing. Other men who are unpacking all that and putting it in a bag and leaving it at the door at the end of every day, just like you do. Other men who are sitting there going, I have no idea how I'm going to pay the electric bill this month. And you know why? Because then you get together and you brainstorm, you mastermind. Okay, you're not commiserating. Oh, brother, I know, man. I'm so sorry. That just sucks. No, no. It's, you know what? I get it, man. I do. Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? I've been there. Wow, man, I didn't think about that. Thanks for letting me know that. And next time, maybe someone else is going to be saying that to you, and you can pass that on and say, you know what? Hey, man, I know. I've been there. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you gone down and given blood? Have you donated plasma? They pay for that. Folks, when I was going through my rebirth, we weren't in the plasma stage yet. You donated actual blood, and it took you a long time to recoup that, to regrow that, so to speak. And I'm no doctor, so please, you know, spare me with all the DMs coming in about how donating blood works and the regeneration of blood. I really don't want to hear it. All I know is that there was a limit on how much you could give, and they paid you for it back then. Now they don't. Now, if you donate blood, you get like a, I don't know, gift card, or maybe you get a couple cookies or something that you don't need. But you can give plasma now. And plasma is nowhere near as harmful to you as taking your blood out of your body. But I also was doing all this back in the day before all of these different places were linked together in a central computer system. So I would go to one place in the morning, and then I'd go to another place at the end of the day across town. And a couple days later, I'd go to another place in the town in the next town over because we needed to, because my family needed food. I'd go out and I'd sell stuff through Facebook Marketplace all the time. And a couple weeks later, my wife would be like, "Hey, what happened to that sweatshirt? Or what happened? Didn't you have an extra pair of shoes? Or what was it?" No. Yeah, I don't know where those are. She had no idea I was selling stuff. My stuff. Gentlemen, we do what we have to do. Never let them see you weak. And that's why you find a brotherhood. Men who get it, who are going through it, or have been through it, and will have your back. Other men who are not dependent on you for their survival. So they're not going to be worried that you're overwhelmed. Never let them see you weak. And the third one, and the final one. You have one mission, and there's 3 points to your mission. You have one mission as a father and a husband, and that is to protect, provide for, and lead your family. I'm not going to get into the first two because we've talked about provide for, and protect seems pretty simple. Okay, protect is obviously physically protect them from outward dangers, but also protect them from, emotional baggage, like you unloading on them and you talking about how you're overwhelmed. So we've covered the first two. And it's the third piece that people absolutely forget or don't understand. And that's the word lead. When you're trying to have better relations with your wife and you want her to, come to the table and consider some things and maybe change her behavior, you can't just sit there and expect her to do it first. You have to lead the way. When you're trying to get your kids to behave differently, you have to lead the way. Instruct them on what to do. then see if they follow. This happens all the time. Men will say to me, I don't have a good, strong connection with my kids. Are you hugging them? Are you telling them, I love you? These are simple things to say. There's nothing anti-masculine about either one of those. Well, not really. Okay. But you want your kids to, hug you, right? Well, yeah. Lead. There was an old book, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus, talking about, you have to make deposits into the emotional bank account. And you've got to make deposits into this account before you can take anything out. That was great. It's a similar concept, but it doesn't really cover all the ground that the word lead does. So, gentlemen, the final piece of that puzzle is you must lead. Must. And I have guys tell me all the time, I lead my family. Okay. Are the kids behaving the way you want? Is your relationship the way you want it to be? Is your relationship with your wife the way you want it to be? You know it. Well, no. Gentlemen, and this is from John Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. If you think you're leading and no one is following, all you're doing is taking a walk. You're only leading if someone's following you. So, gentlemen, refocus, re-engage, and lead for real. Lead by example, lead by action, lead by intent, but lead. And if you're not sure how that works and you want to talk about exact steps and things like that, contact me. I coach this stuff. And I don't coach it because I know better or because I'm better at it or because I'm right and you're wrong. I coach it because I've made every mistake you can make. I have more scars on my back than I can even count from all the lessons I've learned. That's why I do this show. Because if one of you can avoid one of those scars by listening to something I have to say, then I've made a difference in the world. Gentlemen, if you don't know how to get started with this or you're not sure how to implement it, you don't know how to re-engage, jump on the DMs. Let me know. Let's start a conversation. There's no charge to talk. Let's go. Let's go. It is time. Protect, provide for, and lead your family. You can do it. I know you can do it because you do have value. And gentlemen, start to understand that a huge part of your value is adhering to these three principles and in doing your job as a man. I know you can do it. Or I wouldn't be sitting here talking. And you know you can do it too. Even if it's tough. You're worth it. You just have to believe it. Until next time.